Headline off of Business Insider: Iran has developed fentanyl-based chemical weapons. Shalom, all glorification, honor, and praise is due only unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, along with the bishops and elders who rule and teach the church. Well, salutations to the elect, the Baishah Dodah, the house of David. Spiritual house being raised up in these last days, made up of lively stones, beginning with the 144,000 of servants, the prophets, to include the remainder of the remnant, which consists of men, women, and children, believers, those who believe the testimony of the prophets. They too are going to be delivered out of this coming destruction. That's what's coming to America, aka Babylon the Great, total destruction. And it's going to be compliments of the intercontinental ballistic missiles and the ships, the chariots of the Lord, the chariots of Israel. All right, which Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, refers to as UAP now, unidentified aerial phenomenon. All right, or UFOs is the older term. Those are the ships of Israel, man, and that's how deliverance is going to be accomplished. Yahushua coming on that cloud. All right. Also described as a horse, a great and exceeding mountain. He's coming back with the angels as well. All right. They're going to be following along in their ships. Okay. Anyway, this is just going to be a quick hitter, because I thought this is interesting, because this is cold right here, man. Iran has developed fentanyl-based chemical weapons. And, what's ironic about this is, here it is, Esau is totally capable of cutting off, all right, all the drugs that are coming into America. Okay. He's completely capable of doing that, but he doesn't. He wants the drugs here in America. Okay, because it's a big racket for him. All right. The more drugs in America, the more law enforcement. All right, the more jails, the more prisons. Okay, which is a $1 trillion industry, by the way. And fentanyl has been wreaking havoc, all right, in America for several years now, and primarily, all right, the victims of this fentanyl. Well, they call it a crisis, but the victims of this thing are really Esau, Edom. Okay, the so-called white man is all messed up on fentanyl over here, which is actually it's not a crisis, it's a curse. All right, that's pursuant to Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7, where the Lord said he's going to put all these curses, all right, on those who hate thee, roughly paraphrasing, talking about those who hate you Israelites, all right, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, all right, to include the speckled bird brothers and sisters, the Israelite foreigners. All right, so this is really a curse on Esau, and Iran obviously is a big player. Okay, Persia in the Bible, also referred to as Carmania. Okay, that's Second Esdras. What is that? Second Esdras 15. Okay, so Iran plays a big role in the destruction of not only the Israeli state, but the Israeli state will be rebuilt. But they play a huge role in the destruction of America. Coming alongside, all right, their ally now and their protector, which is Gog, all right, aka Russia. All right, where you go into Ezekiel the 38th chapter and it talks about, all the nations coming with shield and helmet and sword. All right, and this is part of that sword too, man. All right, these fentanyl-based chemical weapons. Anyway, we'll read a little bit of it. All right, and this is all through the spirit, because, like I said, the headline caught my attention. All right, Iran has developed chemical weapons based on synthetic opioids such as fentanyl, warns a U.S. expert, powerful agents that could incapacitate soldiers or civilians when added to grenades or artillery. This is cold-blooded, man. Pharmaceutical-based agents, or PBAs, are essentially weaponized medicines that incapacitate or kill their victims depending on the exposure. Iran may have given PBAs to its proxies, such as Hezbollah, which could use them to kidnap Israeli troops and civilians. All right, Amalekites. No such thing as Israelis. Those are the sons of Amalek. All right, which is Amalek is the chief house of Edom. All right, you know those are the the banking families are all Amalekites. You know, like Lord Rothschild and so on down the line. You know, Rockefeller, Warburg, Getty. Okay, so they're not Israelis. Okay, that's a lie. All right, so we have to call that out. You know, because we have to. What does the scriptures say in what is it? 2 Corinthians, I believe it's the 10th chapter. We got to pull down those strongholds, man. All right, there's no such thing as Israelis. All right, there's no such thing as white people. There's no such thing as black people. All right, these are all false constructs and lies. You know, meant to deceive. You know, primarily meant to deceive you Israelites. All right, but I think that's bear with me because I think it's 2 Corinthians 10 where the Apostle Paul deals with that right into the Israelites who were repenting at Corinth. All right, when writing to Greeks, as in natural Greeks, he was writing to Israelites who were being called Corinthians because that's where they lived. It's really simple, so it's not that difficult. But you have to have the eye salve, man. You know, you gotta have that. You gotta have those eyes anointed, all right, from on high to be able to understand what's going on in the scriptures. All right, this book is not for everybody, man. It's not even for 2/3 of our own people. All right. Oh yeah, it is. It's like it's 2 Corinthians 10, chapter 10 and verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds. Yep. And that's what we do. And that's what the word does, man. It pulls down these strongholds. All right, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of Yahweh, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach. All right, not Christ. Christ is an idol. Christ is a Greek word which means anointed. And we don't call him Christ. We don't call the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father, his name is Yahweh. We don't call him Christ. He's the Messiah, Hamashiach. All right. Okay. Back to this quick read here. At a time of growing regional instability, it's like in the Middle East, another false construct, because the so-called Israeli state is actually part of Western Asia. It's not the Middle East. Okay, largely a result of militancy of Iranian proxies, the threats posed by Iran's weaponized PBA program can no longer be overlooked. Matthew Levitt, a senior fellow at the Washington Institute think tank, wrote in an article for the Combating Terrorism Center at West Point. The U.S. Government Accountability Office defines PBAs as chemicals based on pharmaceutical compounds which may or may not have legitimate medical uses and can cause severe illness or death when misused. They include opioids such as fentanyl and tranquilizers for animals. These drugs affect the victim's central nervous system. Once inhaled, these agents cause victims to lose full consciousness and enable the forces deploying them to advance quickly and quietly and or take captive the unconscious victims, Levitt wrote. All right. And again, this is just one, okay, of the Lord's weapons. Okay, because really all these are part of his what? They're part of the Lord's armory. So really all these things belong to the Lord at the end of the day. I mean, the Lord is the one who gave Esau, for example, the ability, okay, to create the nuclear bomb, right? To create the intercontinental ballistic missiles. All right, and he's given these Iranians, so-called these Persians, the understanding of how to, weaponize artillery and grenades, man. Okay, So this is all part of the Lord's armory, man, and he's about to open up on this place. All right, now, obviously, the destruction won't come until, a few more prophecies are fulfilled, but it's on its way, man. All right, the scriptures talks about the arrows already been shot. Okay, in the spirit, and this has already taken place. It's just got to play out in the physical realm. Right? It says, all right, continuing on, it says, Iran was a victim of chemical warfare during the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s. See, so this is this is the Lord turning the tables and basically, giving Esau a dose of his own medicine, if you will. Okay? Yeah. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Right? Recompense, justice. Okay? When Iraqi chemical attacks, including nerve gases such as sarin and mustard gas, contributed to as many as 1 million Iranian casualties. But Iran employed its own mustard gas on a few occasions during the war. Israel believes Iran used PBAs against rebels in the Syrian civil war, while there are reports that pro-Iranian militias in Iraq may have unleashed them against anti-government protesters. A lot of propaganda coming out of that part of the world. All right, we all know who controls Business Insider and all these mainstream media publications. All right, so they're always going to put a favorable spin, all right, to any story, again, especially coming out of the land of, so-called Israel. All right, which ain't the Holy Land, Pastor Begley. All right, that place ain't nothing holy about that place. Tel Aviv is host to the world's largest GAY parade. Tel Aviv. That ain't the Holy Land. All right, the Holy Land is wherever the elect are right now, and the elect are scattered into the four corners of the earth. All right, they're not in the land, and if they are, they're not supposed to be. And there are Jakes in that land. All right, but they're not supposed to be there, and they're going to be destroyed unless they get out of there. Unless, of course, the caveat being, if they're part of the elect, because the Lord is going to shield his elect. Okay, Psalm 91 is beautiful and goes into that, from this coming, destruction, which is going to be compliments of World War III. All right. Okay, the problem is that Iran is right when they said they've been victims of chemical weapons in terrible ways during the Iran-Iraq War, Levitt told Business Insider. But the reality is they themselves have been using these as well. The U.S. and its allies have warned for years that Iran is developing pharmaceutical-based weapons in breach of the 1997 Chemical Weapons Convention, which bans the manufacture and use of toxic chemicals. These are defined as what they're saying is it's okay for us to have something like this, but not you. Because they're a bunch of fucking hypocrites. All right, do as I say, not as I do. That makes you a hypocrite, man. That makes you a fraud. All right, the U.S. doesn't want these other nations to have these things, but it's okay for them to have them. Fuck out of here, man. These are defined as chemicals that, through their chemical action on life processes, can cause. All right, you see that word there. Deletion, temporary incapacitation, or permanent harm to humans or animals. Treaty signatories, including Iran, are obligated to destroy existing stockpiles. All these weapons are going to be used during World War III. All of them. Obviously, the main focus is that we concentrate, beginning with the Elder Apostle, Great Millstone on down, are those intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay, and it ain't just Russia and the U.S. no more. Okay, these weaker nations, these once, weakling, countries, all right, for lack of a better way to phrase it, now they got these things. They got the technology now. Like countries like the Philippines, India, Pakistan. All right, obviously North Korea, they're in the news a lot. Right? They all got it. In Yemen. The Yemenis, man. You know how big Yemen is? Go look on a map and see how big Yemen is. Yemen. Okay? And, other nations too that I'm not naming, and that's a direct fulfillment of Joel's the 3rd chapter, where it talks about let the weak say we are strong. Okay? Yeah, I think I'm gonna cut it off there. This is just something I found interesting on several levels. And these countries ain't playing, man. You know, and I'll say it again and again. You know, the men of the Lord, the apostles, the great millstone, the bishops, the elders, and the Akim doing the work sincerely and truthfully. Been saying it. You know, we be on the lookout for something major to go down prior to so-called inauguration day. You know, some kind of a F flag type of a scenario where the government can declare, you know, martial law, suspend the Constitution, which the Constitution is already null and void. But you know what I'm saying? You know, that's where we are, man. You know, that's where we are, and complete chaos is coming to your city streets, man. I don't care where you are. All right, now obviously some of the major metropolitan areas are gonna get it the worst. But it don't matter where you are, man. This place is about to descend into all-out, you know, chaos, class warfare. You're about to witness it, man. We in the time of Jacob's trouble, in the beginning of sorrow. So it's time to repent because the kingdom of heaven is at hand. I don't want to desire you was edified through the Spirit. I don't want to say shalom. It's on to the next video.